Window washers of Reddit, what is the most memorable thing you have seen while on the job? I work for a private estate in the local polo club. I was under the impression that the owners were not home at the time, but I was wrong. I was washing windows this particular morning and I came around to the restroom window and got a perfect view of this older couple in the shower together. The window looked out on a private fenced-in patio, so that's why it wasn't fogged glass. The window by the toilet is the same way. Bad design in my opinion. I've never moved faster in my life than I did catapulting myself backwards out of view of this naked couple. I don't believe they saw me, because the next time we ran into each other, everything seemed normal from their end, haha. I reckon they were a little bit preoccupied. Good friend is a window washer for downtown office towers. They get notice of the day the windows are being washed, yet he says it's shocking how many people are freaked out by them being outside their window. Weirdest though. They came across a dude watching porn on his office computer. When he noticed the window washers, he just gave them a big thumbs up and kept watching. In my office at least, the window washers probably tell the building administration, but my company never passes that info on to us. So we really do get freaked out / surprised when we look over and there's a window washer there. Absolute Chadimus Prime here. Not my story but my brother's. A very famous female comedian in my country had a house in our area, and in her bedroom above the bed was a life-size paint me like one of your French girls oil painting of her stalkers. He nearly fell off the ladder in surprise, and she was stood at the bottom wetting herself laughing cause she knew what was coming. A tornado. We'd had little warning before we saw it about 1 kilometer away. It didn't appear to be moving side to side much, which indicates that it's coming towards you. We winched down about 4 floors, jumped onto a fire escape, and got inside the building, rode out the storm inside, and then went home. I used to window clean hotels, which meant going room to room with a master key to let myself in. I've seen quite a few dildos and vibrators being proudly displayed on bedside tables, but the one situation that stuck with me the longest was just walking down the corridor and hearing 2 middle-aged people going at it in one of the rooms. It was a Georgian hotel in the Cotswolds, so very HOI. Their screams were getting louder and louder and people were actually coming out of their rooms because it was so audible. All the housekeepers at the end of the corridor were doubled over laughing. That couple had no idea how intimately they shared their experience with us. This happened to me in college. I came back to my dorm after class and my roommate was absolutely tearing into a nice young lady. As soon as I opened the door from the stairwell, at the complete opposite end of my hall, you could hear the squealing. He and I were the only males on that floor and all of the ladies were standing in the hall talking. The stairwell door closed, and, in unison, they all turned to see me and went dead silent. The ladies couldn't hold back when I gave them the biggest smile about it, and we erupted in laughter. Then, the RA came up to see what was going on. When we all fell silent, she heard the coital raucous and immediately turned tail and left. I told my roommate about it later, and he carried it like a badge of honor. Not a window washer, but I used to install and repair windows. One afternoon we'd gone out to a job where some butthole neighborhood kids had smashed several back windows of a nice elderly couple's place. We worked our way from top. First 2 windows belonged to an en-site bathroom, while the third was the bedroom to which the en-site was attached. The master. My job was to clear any remaining glass from the area so the other bloke could put the new panel in. Anyway, I noticed a small urn on the desk by the window, with the name Triple Scoop engraved upon it, along with 2 dates, about 4 years apart. Probably a pet. Hopefully a pet. I'd thought. Didn't think about it for more than a minute, then went back to work. We finished the upstairs windows, and went down to work on the 2 in the kitchen. Holy deuce. There was a wall with 5 long shelves, each one holding several urns similar to Triple Scoop upstairs. Turns out the elderly couple used to breed and race greyhounds and the urns contained the remains of their deceased racers. Triple Scoop was their first champ. I'm glad it was a pet. Not a window washer, but I live in a 2-story building, so we don't really bother with real curtains in the bathroom. We only have an extremely thin, see-through white fabric over the window. The doors in the shower are glass. So, on this fateful day, I was taking a shower and my mom had unfortunately neglected to inform me that our gutter was getting repaired that day. So you can imagine my surprise when, while I was just minding my bussiness, getting soaped up in the shower, naked as the day I was born, all of a sudden I see the figure of a man ascending into the frame of my window. I'm not proud to say I completely panicked and just dropped to the floor. So, dripping wet and covered in soap, I made my way, crawling over the bathroom floor to open the door. I escaped. The worst part is that at that point the guy was probably so high up that he saw everything. The most horrifying moment of my life, but it does make for a good story today. Assert dominance by remaining in shower and singing loudly. Window cleaner for over 12 years now. I've seen horrible things. Also hilarious things. Once helped catch a pair of yobs who were on the run from the police. Was just minding my own business cleaning a customer's windows when the fence panels behind us in the garden exploded. Like it started raining splintered wood and dirt. Some smilk had nicked a car and cornered way too fast. They shot the corner, jumped the curb, and obliterated the garden and the nicely parked up BMW in the drive. Both knobheads ran immediately and hopped the gardens, and in seconds out of nowhere there's a helicopter circling and K9 units on them both. They were flat face down on the pavement in a matter of moments, big burly coppers pinning them down. Seen plenty of big double-ended dildos, strap-on etc left out on the beds of undiscerning customers. Lots of naked old dudes and people who were in the shower not knowing we were there only to scream. It's a good laugh as a job really. Folk are always alright, and it's nice to have a cuppa on the job and a biscuit. Not a proper window washer so to speak, but the clothing store I worked had the insides of their big from windows cleaned every Sunday morning by a staff member. A lot of the time it was me. Now people could come into the mall and wander around, we just wouldn't let them in the stores. This is because the upstairs was a food court and open. So one morning I'm in the store on the little ladder cleaning the window, and I spy this dude standing just kind of out of the way of my line of sight, but he can see me. I'm thinking great, it's 8 AM on a Sunday, I'm possibly still drunk, I don't need this crap, it's too early. So I turn around to call my manager over to point him out so she can call security. While I'm turned around he runs up to the window, waits till we are both looking, and pulls out his dick and wanks all over the store window. Yup. He was escorted out and arrested, and one of the mall cleaners had to clean the mess up, poor dude. There was then a flawed high-necked top found that all the girls had to wear when washing the windows, because apparently he was getting off on seeing the cleavage. Just knew. Not related to window washing, but your story reminded me of something that happened to me quite a while back. I was in the drive-thru at a fast food waiting to order. It was not busy and no one ahead or behind me. There was a dumpster a short distance from the passenger side of my car. I saw a guy in a ratty beige trench coat lurking behind it. I noticed him tentatively creeping up to my car. I thought maybe he was going to ask me for money. Nope. He unzipped his pants and rubbed himself on my passenger car door and licked my window. He startled me so bad I was screaming and yelling at him. Apparently the microphone picked up all that in the restaurant. I was pretty good about locking my car doors, but after that I always make sure my doors are locked. Not a window washer, but I was the victim. It's a Saturday morning and I wanted to have a nice lie-in. My headboard for my bed is up against the window, so I sleep facing away from the window and have to turn around to see what is outside / to open the curtains. On this fateful day, I woke up to some sound, but it wasn't alarming. So I just carried on as usual, stretched, then turned around to open my curtains. Then I see his face. The window cleaner clearly didn't expect me to open the curtains and got a little scared. I too didn't expect to see someone's face looking back at me through the window early on a Saturday morning. He saw me almost fall off my bed in sheer terror. Paying him at the door when he was done was funny. We both laughed and pretended it didn't happen. Did a job in one of the wealthiest area in Texas. I had uppers which is longer, especially with the ladder. My co-workers were inside for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. As I'm about to go inside, both of them come outside, visibly upset. One of my co-worker went in the bathroom, stepped in a puddle, and got his socks wet, and just continued to clean the windows. The other one went behind him, and stepped in the puddle as well, and he looked down and sees there's piss everywhere. They both stepped in piss. The owners had a young toddler, and the entire house was in filth. Food everywhere, kids' toys everywhere. They basically let the kid do whatever he wants with no supervision. The mother was very trashy. Couldn't believe this crap in a $300k plus house. One of my first jobs, I worked as a window cleaner in a little town in England. For a year maybe. Saw some sights. Once saw an old lady getting changed. Nearly jumped off the ladder in fear, but luckily didn't see anything. Was in charge of collecting the money though, and it was real awkward. One time an old man sat in his armchair and watched me intently with a deadpan expression as I cleaned his living room windows. 3 of them. I was pretending I couldn't see him, but I could. Boss son also worked with us, and literally all dogs hate him. No idea why. Watched maybe 15 dogs chase this dude over the year. One bit his ass cheek so hard he had to get stitches. Lol. Had to clean a 4-story building on a hill and boss used to prop the ladder up with 2 bricks under one leg. Super unsafe. While I shook my way up the ladder, all the window ledges were also covered in rusty nails to stop pigeons from landing. So I'd be like 40 foot in the air on an unstable ladder, shaking, trying to clean a window behind 100 giant rusty nails. Terrifying. My favorite story, I was cleaning away and looking at this guy's room and noticed a skateboard. I'm also a skater and thought, oh damn, I recognize that deck. It belonged to a guy I'd met like twice at the local park. The next day I was at the skate park and walked over to him. Bear in mind we've exchanged like 8 words before this. I sat next to him and kept a complete stone expression and said, "Hey, you look like the kind of guy who'd have black bed sheets." He was like, "WTF, I do have black sheets." I was like, "With white squares. I bet your room's blue as well," and has nautically freaked. Like, "How the duck do you know all this?" And then I had to drop it. "I'm your window cleaner mate. Saw your deck in a room yesterday, ahaha." Fast forward 11 years and has currently my oldest and closest friend. Thank you, I'd forgotten that last story. One guy was on his computer wearing complete death metal attire. Spiked hair, full body leather and heavy, and I mean heavy mascara/eyeliner. He was facing the window and in turn me. He locked eyes with me the entire time I was doing my job. He looked like he was going to murder me. That's when I saw what he was watching on his computer. My Little Pony. That's when his demeanor changed. He realized what I saw and smiled from ear to ear. This was 25 years ago. Cleaning second floor windows in a hospital from ladders. I arrived at a window to see a lady giving birth. The child was probably half in and half out is as best as I can describe it. The people in the room were so concentrated on what they were doing they didn't notice me, so I made a hasty descent. A couple of windows further down, same floor, I see a man pacing up and down with his hands behind his back. Dark hair, tidy mustache, around 30. Will never forget his face. No idea why he wasn't in with his partner, but I had no doubt this was the father. Skip down a few windows. 3 minutes per window including moving the ladder, so not that long. And I arrive at a window to see the lady being wheeled in on a wheelchair with the baby in her arms, the other mother's maternity ward, clapping, and the father walking behind with a huge beaming smile. It felt like it was out of a movie with the camera following the story. Quite unforgettable.